So I'm going to do a live coding, which is a bit stressful. Although usually I do it in 15 minutes, but I've done snippets, so it's easier, let's say. So my name is Olivier. I'm a web developer, and today I'm going to present to you how to have a online first experience when you do an application, and now it's not just caching the application, but have a real experience on it. If you want to find the sources of the live coding at the end, you can find it on GitHub. I will share the slides on Twitter then, so you can find the link. So we'll directly start with live coding there. I'm going to start with an application that already exists. It's a PWA web app, so it has all the manifest or the service worker already. Basically, it's an application. It's a photo library. So you're gonna see a lot of pictures of me today because I only have a front camera, and I'm going to take a lot of pictures of me. So basically, what it does, it's connected to a Firebase. I'm not using a Firebase, the Firebase library. I'm using the REST API of Firebase. So what it does, it takes a picture and it uploads the picture on Firebase. Here you have two pictures now, and you see it here. All right, let's do that. Just another one here. Okay, great. So how it works, I have a HTML, which is just the template. I have a service worker, which is very basic. I have the install, which is caching the resources. I have the activate to remove the old cache and activate the new cache, and the fetch event listener to get the assets from the cache or the network. So I assume that you all know the basics of the progressive web apps. If you were in the first meetup, that was a good explanation of that. And then I have the script, JavaScript, which is pretty long, as you can see, but most of the method here are used for the UI, so showing the video, displaying these or these, taking the picture and filling the Canva, a lot of click events, generating a template when we create a new picture, as we saw, and adding a new photo. As you can see, I am sending to Firebase through the Fetch API, so very basic, no Firebase library. And that's how I get the photos from Firebase in the first place. Registering the service worker, and I'm using the user media API for the video and take the picture. So very basic. All right. So I'm going to go back to the slides just for 1 second. This is the strategy we are going to use for the application. So this is you on the left taking a nice selfie, and what we want to do is to we want the application to work even though we don't have a network, meaning I am in the subway and I take 1, 2, 3 pictures, whatever. And then when I get the network back, my photos are uploaded on the internet. So I don't lose them, right? I don't have this error saying don't have connection. So what we're going to do is we're going to save the images in a database, and then we're going to see how the service worker can detect that we have network and then perform an action. For that, we're going to use IndexedDB for local database. That's the only library I'm going to use during the live coding, because IndexedDB is a pain in the whatever to use. It's an event-based library. So I'm going to use IDB. It's a library created by Jake Archibald, which is a layer above IndexedDB that is using promises. So way easier. All right, so just to demonstrate first how we know if we have network, because basically if here I'm turning off the Wi-Fi, I'm taking a picture. pretty obvious that I will get an error here in the console. So we want to know when we have network and not. There is a very nice event in the service worker called sync. You can listen the event sync, and basically what it does, it is trigger when once you have network. You can give him a tag, here is the tag post photo that we're going to use later, to tell the service worker that you want to perform a certain action depending on which register you did for the sync. And in the on the JavaScript, we'll do a pretty quick, let's say in the add photo, instead of, okay, let's comment that so I don't send thousands of pictures on Firebase. And we're going to register this sync event. So the reg here is the service worker variable that when you register the service worker in the first place. And here I'm going to register an event on sync with a tag post photo. All right? Pretty easy. So if I'm taking back the network here. All right. So if let's say I take a picture now. So you can see that I have my event registered and not activated. All right, let's do it again. It's not working. I don't like when it's not working. All right, it's working now. So you can see that I have the sync event registered and it's fired. Because the sync event is not only fired when you get back the network, it's fired every time you do a request on the internet and you have network. Meaning if I deactivate my Wi-Fi and I'm taking another picture, you can see I have the sync event registered because it's in the add photo method that I register this event. But it's only once I turn on the Wi-Fi and I get internet connection that the sync event is fired in the service worker. Magic. So that's what we're going to use to make our application offline first ready. Okay, first I'm going to just add a few scripts in my HTML because, as I said, I'm using IndexedDB here. And we're going to create another JavaScript file to manage all the connection with the database, so I don't have to replicate the code in the service worker and in the client. So I'm just creating a class data store. All right. So what it does here, I'm just opening the IndexedDB using IDB. So I'm opening offline demo DB version 1. Upgrade DB means that I want to perform an action on the database. Here I'm just creating an object store called photo booth with the keypath ID. Keypath just say that I don't want the ID, the key, to be generated automatically. I want to take the ID of the object I'm storing as an ID. So that opens the database, and we're going to get a method to get the store, because that's what we're going to use to add data and get data from the database. All right, back here. That's my client side then. I'm going to create a data store object. All right, and now if I come back here, I just have to reload my application. And if you go in, IndexedDB here, that you can browse in the DevTools, you can see I have a offline demo DB with the photo booth object store that has just been created when I created the when I opened the IDB, the IndexedDB. Okay, so on the client side, that we have our database open. What we want to do is, instead of sending all the data to Firebase, we want to store them in the database. Pretty easy. We get the store like we just created the method in the data store.js, and we store the photo. It's really easy. A photo is here. It's an ID, it's a date, and it's the source is the base64 image. So we could have sent it in cloud storage and the other data in the database, but just wanted to keep it easy and put everything in just one place. So base64 is used. So I put that in the database, and then I'm just adding the photo on in the DOM. So this generate the template, put the photo. False is just to tell it to say that it hasn't been uploaded on the internet yet. And now, so let's refresh. Now when I take a picture and I go in my photo booth, I can see that it has been added to the database. So here we have the date, the ID, and the source map of the photo. So here it is. Last one, I should do different faces so you can see the difference between the photos. We can see here, the false was used for this icon that says I'm not synced yet. Yeah, just one thing that doesn't work yet. If I refresh my app, I can see the photos coming from Firebase, but I can't see the photo coming from the database. So we're going to create another method here to get all the photos from the database. So we just get the store again, and we return all the photos from the database. And here in my client, let's see, so that's where I get the photo from Firebase, and that's other photo from the database. So I call the method I just created, get all photos from the database, and I just loop through the photo and add them in the DOM. Always with this false saying that I'm not synced yet. So now if I refresh my app, you can see the last photo is here, the one that hasn't been synced, and the other one coming from Firebase are here. Okay, good. So now we have all the, if I go back to my schema here, here, we have all the left part done. We set the images to the database, and we register the sync event. And now we're going to do the other part, the part that has to be done by the service worker. So here, service worker first. If I want to use my my database here, I have to create another database reference data store. And to use that, because the service worker doesn't have access to what you have included in your HTML, meaning these two things that has been included in the HTML, the service worker can't access it. So I have to import them. No, it's nope, 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 haha. How did I call this snippet? I have all these snippets here. Aha, here it is. So here I'm asking to import the IDB and the data store.js in the service worker. It's like in web worker and the worker in general. You have to use cell.import script here. Pretty useful. And now that we have that, we are triggering our sync event here, and we want to upload the photo, right? So I will create a upload photos method in a few seconds. I'm doing the event.wait until. It's the same you use in the install of the service worker, which is basically telling the browser, I'm going to do an async task. Please don't kill me in the meantime. Wait, please. And so to do, yeah, the upload photos method. So each time I have this event trigger, meaning each time I have network when I perform a request on the internet, I will upload all the photos. Very simple method here. I get all the photos from the database with the method we created earlier. And I'm just looping through all the photos and uploading the photo and removing the photo. Don't forget to remove them, because if we don't remove them, you will have more and more photos added to your IndexedDB. And each time you take a picture, we'll have all the photos uploaded again. Can increase pretty fast. So these two, upload photo, which is called here. Very easy. It's exactly the same code we use in the first version of the application, just calling the Firebase REST API to send a photo. And the remove function is we get the store and we delete the photo with the ID of the photo, because it's the key. Okay, everyone is following now? Perfect. If I go back to my application here, all right. So if I take another picture now, here, yeah, different face. Fuck. Normally, it will be uploaded. Let's see. Yeah, it has been removed from the, how many pictures? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I take another one, here, yeah, it's uploaded. And as you saw, they are removed from the IndexedDB here. Meaning if I am offline and I take another picture here, let's say another one, you will see them here in the database. And once I get the Wi-Fi back, they will be uploaded to Firebase here, and they will be removed from the local database. So we're pretty much done. There is just one thing that could be nice to do is, you see this little icon here? When it comes from Firebase, it says that it's already synced. When it's uploaded from the service worker, it would be nice to have a way that the service worker tell the application that I am uploading the photo and now it's uploaded. So there is a way to discuss between the service worker and the client. So we're going to create a broadcast method. So we're trying to split a bit the source code. So what does the broadcast method do? It takes an action and the photo ID. This first line is getting all the clients connected to the service worker, meaning if you have multiple tabs open in your browser, it will get all the tabs and you can send a message to each one of them, or if you want to just send to a few of them. Also, if there is no tab open, it won't take any clients. Because as you may know, the service worker on your mobile, it's even running, even though your Chrome is closed or your tab is closed. So if you're in the subway and you take pictures, and then you close your Chrome, you just put your phone in your pocket, and you leave the subway, it will upload the photos in the background, even if Chrome is closed. That's the magic of the service worker. And in this case, it won't see any clients. So we loop through other clients, and we use the post message method that takes an object as a parameter. We have the client, which is just the client ID, very useful in our case, and a message where basically you can put whatever you want. Here I just put an action. The action can be used to tell the client what you are doing. Like we are uploading the photo has been uploaded, or there has been an error during the upload of the photo, and the ID of the photo. Because in the DOM, I'm using the ID to find the photo in the different cards. So we're going to code this broadcast method here when I upload a photo. I will first, before I send the photo, I will say, okay, broadcast an event to say that you are backupping the photo. And then upload the photo, and when you are done, broadcast an event, say, I'm done uploading the photo. You can put whatever you want in the message here, in the action. I'll tell you what I put these names in a few seconds. Now you go to your client, and you have to, don't care where I'm putting that. you have to add an event listener to the message coming from the service worker. So here on the service worker, I add an event listener on message. I get the message, and I woohoo. Yep, here. Don't know what happened. Here, is it still big enough to see at the back? I'll put it bigger. So I'm getting the message, and I'm getting the photo in the DOM with the thanks to the ID of the photo. I am changing the icon with the new one I put in the action. That's why I put backup and cloud done, because there are already names in material design icons, so I don't have to do a if statement. So I just put the name of the action, and that's the name of the icon. All right, let's try to make this work. Okay, so let's turn off the Wi-Fi. I can take 1, can take 2, can even take 3 pictures. And now, normally, if I get the network back, the pictures will be uploaded. And you can see the icon changing, saying, I'm uploading the photo. That's done. I'm uploading, and that's done. The network is pretty fast here, so I hope you saw that. But you have the icon saying, I'm uploading, then it's uploading the video, and then it says it's done. So that's how you can communicate between the service worker and the client. That's pretty much all. So now you know how to not only have a website that works offline, but you can do a real application. It can be a to-do list, a grocery store, whatever you want, that the user can interact with the application while he is offline, and then replay. Here I just send photo, but you can even store all the events that are done by the user and then send them to your backend. You can do pretty much what you want. Do you have any questions? Thank you. Yep.
So right now you have no retry strategy. So if you do not upload to Firebase, you just
no, there's no reply strategy. But it only removes the photo once it's uploaded. So I have one try cache for both of them, yes. But you could put each of them in the try cache, and if the first one fails, you don't remove it from the local database.
My question is mostly related to, because establishing a connection is really costly, especially on the battery life cycle. So if you keep doing that while someone is in a shady connection where he gets the network, but only for like a fraction, and you keep doing that all the time, you might actually be draining the battery. So how do you think you can mitigate that?
You can have different strategy. I mean, if the first one fails, you can just stop in the loop of your phone, because it's the same. For the demo, I do a loop of the photos to upload them. It's just so you can see in the UI that it's uploading one by one. But normally, which is the opposite of what you just said, but we should do just an array of promises and send all the pictures in parallel. But if you don't send them in parallel, you can just send one, and if it fails, you can say, okay, I will retrieve in 1 second. If it fails in 2 seconds, you have this increasing time.
Maybe you can delete it afterwards if it fails. Maybe 5 times. Yeah, that's good.
And actually, the IndexedDB at some point, Chrome can delete it. It's not a persistent database. Yeah. So if you have a space issue on your phone, Chrome might delete the IndexedDB without letting you know. Nice.
Hi, I'm sorry. Just if by a lack of chance, you happen to lose your connection rights after uploading the picture and before removing it, and by any chance as well, someone may kill the app.
So you mean the picture is sent?
Yeah.
But then you lose the connection before you remove it?
Yeah.
Well, you remove it locally, so we don't need a connection to remove it.
Oh,
the IndexedDB is local, so no problem.
Okay, that's true. Fine, thank you.
Welcome. Any other question? Was it clear? Because it's a bit like 20 minutes, live coding, snippets. I hope that was clear. In the source code is on GitHub. You have the there's two branches, a start and end, so you can see the starting code and how it's done at the end. And here, thank you.